are part of it. So we were created with a purpose. We were created for a specific reason. But we have a problem. We have a mind that wants to do the opposite of what we were created for. Because that is one of our biggest problems, original sin. We are creative, we are too intelligent, we have this great reasoning, and we have a wisdom and knowledge that we're not supposed to have. You see, isn't this difficult to understand and to accept? And it's difficult to come to terms with peace with this, because this is the hardest part. If you read Genesis, the book of Genesis, and if you understand that those 5 books that were revealed to Moses were actually revealed by God, and that is our history. And you know how long it took for God to reveal to us our history? Because we were not even allowed to know what was happening to us once we were sent into exile. We lost all sense of direction on the spirit. We had no sense of direction until Moses. See, even though before Moses he had chosen his own people, and he had chosen, we have Abraham, Melchizedek has shown up, he chose the 12 tribes, everything. Still, he didn't reveal to them their origin, and he didn't reveal to them exactly their outcome. At the end, he didn't reveal the Messiah completely. He gave them signs, but not as specific and clearly as he did to Moses. And he wrote those 5 books in the desert during those 40 years, under extreme conditions, because the pressure that Moses lived during those 40 years, nobody could ever imagine. Guiding people that were like pagans and were chosen people of God, but they were all contaminated by pagans. And no matter how much God was doing among them, they were going against God every minute. And Moses had to go through this and endure this. And Moses was the one talking to God directly, personally, and dealing with God. Every time God was showing up, he was going to burn them all, and sometimes he will kill 20,000 in one day. Imagine how much Moses had to suffer when he saw God destroying over 20,000 people of his people in the desert, and he was the one in charge of them. You see, it must have been very painful for Moses, very difficult to see how hard they were, those people. They were not obedient. But you see, God revealed to him the origin of humanity and revealed to Moses why we were on exile and why we were mortals. We were not supposed to die. We became mortals because of sin. So then God revealed to Moses also how we were going to be taken into redemption by Jesus. So in Genesis, we read what God told Moses. God told Moses that we ate a knowledge we are not supposed to have, and we have to live with it. So you know why we all have these tendencies to find out the things that are secret. That's why we go into divination. We have this tendency, this natural tendency to go into magic. That's why astrology is so attractive. That's why tarot readings and all these sciences and all of these spiritualisms and all this worshiping of crystals and candles and circles of fire and the feng shuis and the reikis and all of these things are so popular and so attractive. Anything that is pagan, that is worshiping nature and creation, energies, vibrations, all of this is so attractive because we have that tendency in us. And how much we justify that. We fight to justify that because it's like in us. We understand that it's part of us. Like the people of God during those 40 years in the desert, in a second, they will be worshiping things. They will be worshiping objects and things. It was in them. They were already so contaminated, and on top of that, because of original sin, they had that in them. So we have this knowledge we're not supposed to have. So it's not easy for us to stop this creativity we have, and to stop the imagination we have, and to stop the spirits of evil to transit through us, suggesting so many things in order to pervert our actions and to take us into disobedience. And so this is our battle. This is the exile. We have to fight with that. And to cross the exile, we have to cross it by the hand of the Lord and with the help of Our Lady, because we need guides. We need guidance and we need protection. And for that protection to be effective, we have to understand the invisibility that accompany us on the good side. Our guardian angel. You see the powers that have been entrusted to us and revealed to us. Because through Moses also, God told us that He was giving us an angel. And that angel was going to guard us and protect us all the days of our lives. He was going to be the voice of our conscience. He was going to be that voice of God, the voice of the Holy Spirit, through the angel of God. We are to be faithful to the angel, to obey him and to go with him all the days of our life, so that we can be presented to God at the end by the angel. And that is another revelation. You see, we have to think about this. Why did God assign an angel to us? And why is that angel invisible? When you see somebody out there in the world with bodyguards and a bulletproof car and things like that, the first impression you have is that that person is in danger, right? Because otherwise, why will he bother to have bodyguards and bulletproof cars and things like that? That person is in danger, obviously. So if God assigned to us a bodyguard, a guardian angel, why did he? Because we are in danger. Because we are crossing the exile. And what is the exile? Where do you think the fallen angels were thrown into? They were thrown into exile, but they're never going to come out. You see, they are here, and the difference between them and us is that we come out and they don't come out. We come out if we obey. They will never come out. So that's the difference. So if we have to cross the exile where we are, then we need a bodyguard. And that bodyguard that is invisible is protecting us from the invisible forces against us that we cannot see. So that bodyguard becomes our eyes. You notice when you see a blind person, and that blind person has a guide, sometimes it's a dog, sometimes it's a person. But that person that guides the blind person is his eyes, the blind person's eyes. And that person guides the blind person. So the guardian angel is the same thing. The guardian angel has the eyes we don't have. But for that guardian angel to be effective, we have to obey him. Imagine if the blind man is not following the person that is guiding him, it's going to end up in a ditch, somewhere. It's going to fall down, it's going to crash somewhere. So that's what we have to do. We have to remember we are blind to the spirit. We are blind to the spiritual world. We are blind, deaf, and mute to the spiritual world because of original sin. So we have to follow the guardian angel. That is the one that has the eyes of the Spirit. And he's the one given to us to guide us, to go with us, to go every day, everywhere, all the time. We cannot afford to go anywhere without the guardian angel. Because where do we think we are going? We are going to hit ourselves against something. So when I was placed, after the Lord spoke to me for a long time, he spoke to me about my Catholic church and how I left it and how the devil stole my Catholic faith when I was 14 years old, when he stole from me the sacrament of reconciliation. He stole from me the sacrament of reconciliation and I became really weak. And then I lost the faith. Because you see, for us that were created as instruments of God, Eucharistic soldiers, Eucharistic vessels, in order for us to stay Eucharistic vessels and to keep the vessel clean and strong, we have to keep the sacrament of reconciliation. You see, someone that was not created to be a Eucharistic vessel is not going to need the sacrament of reconciliation because that person was created for something else. But we were created to be Eucharistic vessels, and we need to be together with what God gave us in order to be able to be that Eucharistic vessel.